Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about my top tips for purchasing a quality watch and also how to style them depending on the actual style of watch you decide to pick up. I've teamed up with Linjer for this video and I'm going to be talking through what to keep an eye out for when selecting a quality watch, how to pick the right size for your wrist, and also a couple of the different ways that I would style the different watch options that I've got here. So we're going to jump into it by talking through what to look for when you're selecting your new watch. And I've got 3 points that I want to talk through. The first one is style. I feel like a really good watch is one of those finishing touches on your outfit, just like a pair of shoes or a great handbag, and it can say a lot about your personal style. So there are so many different things that you need to consider when you're picking the right style for you, because I don't know about you guys, but personally I love to wear the same kind of watch all the time. I want it to be something that is very timeless. So the first thing you're going to want to think about is, do you want a really minimal looking watch face? Do you want something that's got branding on it or not? Do you want something that has a little bit of embellishment, like little diamantes on the actual watch face itself for telling the time? Then you're going to think about, what kind of strap do you want? Do you want to have a leather strap, or would you like a bracelet strap or a stainless steel strap? And what color would you like? Because there's quite a lot of options out there. And the last thing to consider is, do you want to go for a designer piece, or do you want to go for something that's a little bit more mid-price but that is still excellent quality? Personally, I prefer to go for the latter, just because I feel like there are so many great options out there. Linjer is probably my go-to, just because I feel like they deliver really high quality designer-like pieces but at a fraction of the price point. The second thing to consider is the quality. So what are you getting for your money? Are you getting a beautiful leather strap or really high quality stainless steel? What is the glass like on the watch face? You want to make sure that this is going to be pretty scratch resistant. A watch is going to sit on your wrist, and if you're anything like me, I tend to be a little bit clumsy, and so the last thing that I want is something that is very high maintenance. I want something that's going to be pretty hard wearing and that I know is going to stand the test of time. Then the final thing that you need to consider is the type of movement of the watch. Now this is all down to personal preference, but there are 3 different kinds of movements that are kind of widely available. So there is a mechanical watch. Now this is the kind of watch that actually requires constant upkeep and maintenance, so you need to actually wind the watch every single day. It isn't the most accurate out there. I believe that mechanical watches are about 99.9% accurate. You do lose a second or 2 every single day, so you need to keep on top of that to make sure that it's keeping time. The second kind of watch is an automatic watch. So this is a watch that will wind itself while you're wearing it. It winds itself with the movement of your wrist. The downside to a watch like this is when you decide to take it off, and if you leave it off for some time, the battery will lose charge, and it means that it won't have the correct time, so you'll need to double check it when you next go to wear it. The third kind is quartz movement, and this is incredibly accurate. It runs on a battery using an electrical current that pulsates, and it keeps the watch moving. So you will need to replace the battery when it runs out. However, it does keep the time very, very well. Once you've settled on what kind of watch that you want, the style that you like, the sort of movement that you're after, you need to decide on the right size for your wrist. And there actually is a little bit of an art to figuring out the correct size for your wrist. So essentially what you need to do before you start looking at watches is measure your wrist. That'll give you a really good idea as to the diameter of the watch face that you should be looking at. There are a couple of different considerations to keep in mind, whether you want to get it for style purposes, so maybe you're less concerned about whether it's going to look perfect on your wrist, you want it to actually be a little bit oversized, or maybe you want it to look a little bit smaller on your wrist. Or if you are getting it as a timepiece and you actually want it to be really classic and fit your wrist perfectly. So the way that you measure your wrist, it's really simple. You just grab a measuring tape and you wrap it around your wrist. So I'll show you guys how I do mine. So I put that around the smallest part of my wrist here, which is where a watch would sit. Mine measures 15.5 centimeters or 6 and a bit inches. Typically, women's wrists tend to sit between the 5 to 7 inch mark. So if you have a smaller or more petite wrist that measures 5 to 6 inches, you're probably going to want to be looking at a watch face that has a diameter of 22 to 30 millimeters on average. If you have an average wrist size like I do, which is between 6 and 7 inches, then you're probably going to want to be looking at a watch that has a diameter of 30 to 38 millimeters so that it fits your wrist perfectly. So I actually have 4 watches here from Linjer that I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how they all look on my wrist. I feel like they're all quite different, even though they have some similar design elements. I like the fact that they're all relatively very minimal without much branding. 2 of the women's watches that I have here have no branding. I've also got a 3rd women's watch which does have very, very minimal branding, and I also have a men's watch too, because I feel like sometimes you want to add a little bit of a masculine component into your outfit. And I thought I would talk through each of these by size. So the first one that I've got here is the newest launch from Linjer, and I'm really excited about it. I just think that this is a really beautiful, elegant, refined and understated classic. So this is their Petite, and I've got it in the box here, and I will show you how it looks on my wrist. I'm also going to show you a couple of the different strap options just because I feel like this looks gorgeous with the black strap, and the straps are very easy to change as well. It's just got a little catch and release on the back, so I'll show you guys that in the cutaway. But this is, yeah, the Petite. It has the shiny gold stainless steel case and very, very simple kind of details. As I mentioned, I just think that this is a really beautiful classic. It's really dainty, and with the 30 millimeter watch face, it sits on the smaller end of the scale for what is perfect for my particular wrist size. And because this is so dainty and elegant, this is the kind of style that I think is really perfect, not only for every day, but I also think for if you're going out for a special occasion. I love the tan leather strap for every single day. However, I think that the black strap or even the dark navy or the dark brown makes it really refined and elegant for an evening outfit. So that is definitely how I would wear it if I was going to be going from office to the bar and then out for a really nice meal. So that is the Linjer Petite watch. The second watch I wanted to talk about is one that I've had for about a year now, and it has been one of my most worn accessories. I really love the way that this pairs with all of my outfits. It's kind of a classic go-to all-rounder. I should probably show you what it is. It is the classic. And this has the 2-layered dial, which has been inspired by the Oslo Opera House, which I just think is a really beautiful little design detail. And I think it just speaks to the fact that a lot of thought has gone into those little elements in the appearance of the watch. There is no branding on this, which I really like. If branding is not your thing, then this is kind of a perfect style for you. I have this in the 34 millimeter, which is again sitting right in the middle of what is perfect for my particular wrist size. This comes in the brushed stainless steel, which I think is really beautiful. I've got it here with a dark brown leather strap, which is sort of my go-to. I do change it up every now and then. I think it looks really nice with the navy as well. The contrast between the brushed stainless steel and the navy is really beautiful, and this is the kind of thing that I would just wear for an everyday office look. It's something that I think goes with absolutely everything. It really is just an understated timepiece, and I think one that you can see, I mean, it still looks brand new, aside from the fact that this particular strap has been a little bit loved, but there's absolutely zero wear to it. So the quality on this is absolutely divine. It's not been babied at all, and I haven't gotten a single scratch on the watch face. I really like the fact that all of Linjer's watches have scratch resistant crystal domed sapphire, which I think really speaks to the quality of the materials. So that is the classic in the 34 millimeter. And the third watch that I have here is called the Minimalist, and this has a very kind of similar design to the classic, and I will put them side by side so that you can see, and so you can also get an idea for the different sizing. So 38 millimeter is probably the largest that I would go on my wrist. It's probably going to be a little bit too big if you have a smaller wrist size. If you're between 5 and 6 inches around your wrist, you probably want to go for a 34 millimeter at the largest, unless you're looking for something to really make a statement on your wrist. So this one here is paired with the navy strap. As you can see, I haven't pulled it out of the box yet. I wanted to show you guys how it comes. And again, this is just a really timeless classic. It doesn't have any branding on it, and unlike the classic, it also doesn't have that double tier design to it. So it's just a plain watch face with the little markings so that you can tell the time. It also has the date on it, which I think is really handy, and it's got the black watch hands. So this one here is the kind of thing that I would probably pair with more masculine outfits. So I've been really getting into wearing big oversized knit sweaters and tailored trousers with a little heel for the office. I think that it's a really nice combination, particularly as I work in a more relaxed environment. I also think that this would pair really nicely with some slightly more gamine outfits, or even a Parisian look. This would be great with stripes, particularly with the navy strap. I just think that that's a really beautiful little combo. And again, very easy to change the straps on these as well. It does have that little quick catch release on the back, which makes it very simple and very quick to change up the look. The final style that I have here is the men's minimalist, and this comes in the most beautiful, luxurious little box here. Feels very upscale, very upmarket. When you open it up, you can see here it's got this little cushion that the watch sits on. Now this is a absolute stunner. This is the silver stainless steel with the black leather strap, and you can see it's definitely a lot more masculine than the other two styles that I showed you. So here's a side by side for comparison with the minimalist, the women's. If I can get them straight, there we go. So you can see it's got a bit of a different look. So the crystal domed sapphire actually has a little bit more of a curve to it on the men's version, and you can see that the hardware is actually a shiny stainless steel, which I really like. The closure is a little bit more complex. As you can see, it's not a simple buckle. You need to undo the entire closure here, the metal closure, and then slip the strap through. I will do a bit of a close-up. You hook it into the size that you want, and then you clasp it down like that. And I just think that that looks very high-end, very high quality, very different, so very, very sturdy on your wrist. And I just think a really gorgeous classic. And actually, this is the kind of thing that I think looks gorgeous on women as well. I don't think that this is style just for men. And the way that I would wear this is with, you know, a lot of suiting. I think that this is the kind of thing that pairs really well with those masculine inspired looks. So a really nice big oversized shirt. You could even wear it with denim, but I personally like how it looks with a pair of tailored trousers, really nice big pair of high heels, and a classic tote bag. Just think it's a great option for every day, and I think the silver and black pairs really nicely, and it just looks very, very high end. Again, the straps are made out of a vegetable tanned leather, which is going to age really beautifully, as you will have seen on my classic that I have, which has just worn so spectacularly well. But I just think that that's a beautiful timepiece, and I love the fact that it is essentially a unisex style if you want it to be. I will also include a little side-by-side of how all the watches look on my wrist as well, so you can get a feel for how the different sizes appear and how important it really is to make sure that you are picking the right size watch for your wrist. I hope that you guys found this video helpful. I really think it's important to stress that you do not need to spend thousands of dollars to get a really beautiful and high quality watch. For me, I think Linjer kind of really does bridge that gap between something that's super affordable and something that is very expensive, while still retaining that very high-end luxurious feel. Thank you again to Linjer for partnering with me on this video. I would love to know if you have been thinking about picking up one of their watches, and if so, which style you're going for. And I will see you guys next time with a brand new video. See you soon. Bye.